The consolidated B-24 Liberator was one of the first heavy bombers used by the Allies during World War II, fighting alongside the iconic Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress across all continents and serving in a variety of roles, including submarine hunter and maritime patrol aircraft. Despite being constantly eclipsed by the Flying Fortress, the B-24 Liberator flew faster, higher, and farther. Furthermore, the Flying Boxcar, a massive aircraft bomber that resembled a seaplane, was outfitted with over a dozen 50-caliber machine guns and had the capacity for a sizable bomb load that the B-17 lacked. The Liberator became the ultimate symbol of American industrial might, with around 13,000 of the 18,000 models produced during the war being used by the U.S. Army Air Forces, making it the most produced bomber in military history. The United States Army Air Corps focused on developing new aircraft and air warfare techniques for upcoming conflicts in order to remain competitive in the next generation of warfare. However, the country was soon hit by the Great Depression, which slowed the production of new warplanes. In 1935, the Army Air Corps requested a new type of aircraft that would revolutionize the aviation industry. The requirements included the creation of a multi-engined, long-range heavy bomber with a top speed of 300 miles per hour and a range of approximately 3,000 miles. In addition, the aircraft needed a service ceiling of 35,000 feet and an internal bomb load of at least 8,000 pounds. The idea was ambitious, but it was doable. By then, the Spanish Civil War had already begun in Europe, with countries such as Germany taking part. Italy and the Soviet Union provided new weapons, aircraft, and vehicles to both the Communist Republicans and General Francisco Franco's forces. Such was the case with the German Condor Legion, which used cutting-edge Luftwaffe aircraft and tactics. The United States closely followed these developments and put pressure on the development of its new heavy bomber. The request from the Army Air Corps in 1935 resulted in the development of the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, which won the contract due to its unique features and capabilities. The legendary aircraft was already in production when the sparks of war began to fly in Europe and the Pacific in 1938. As the Army Air Corps prepared to defend its Pacific territories from Japan's rapid expansion, it requested assistance from the Consolidated Aircraft Corporation in the production of B-17 bombers. Consolidated agreed and flew some of its engineers to Boeing facilities in Seattle and Washington to familiarize themselves with the aircraft that they would assist in the production of. The Army Air Corps approved a design study under the C-212 designation in January 1939. T-212 intended to test the B-17's capabilities and performance, increasing its range, speed, and ceiling, and was confident that it was up to the task. Following approval, the company immediately began work on its Model 32 design. Following that, Consolidated engineers made several revolutionary changes to approaching bomber designs. By early 1940, the model had been renamed the B-24 Liberator. The Model 32 was the first bomber to have a tricycle undercarriage. The twin-tail design from the company's previous Model 31 flying boat was also used. The fuselage of the aircraft was designed to accommodate twin bomb bays of the same size and capacity as a B-17. To improve fuel efficiency, a new wing design was used on Model 32. The design, however, was not without flaws. The wing was susceptible to ice formation despite increasing tankage lift and speed. Because it carried 4 supercharged radial engines mounted in cowlings, the wing was also more vulnerable to enemy fire. In addition, 2 oval vertical stabilizers were mounted at the ends of a rectangular horizontal stabilizer on the tailplane. The B-24 was outfitted with 10 50-caliber Browning M1919 machine guns, which necessitated a crew of 10. The pilot and co-pilot sat in a glazed cockpit, while the navigator and bombardier sat in the nose, with machine guns on each side. The radar operators sat behind them, sideways, and served as waist gunners. In addition, the flight engineer manned another turret located just behind the cockpit. Finally, the B-24 is used for long-range naval patrols and is equipped with less offensive armament for increased range and aerodynamic efficiency. B-24 bombers were used in every theater of the war, from Africa, the Pacific, and Asia, to Europe and the Atlantic. Because of its extended range and bomb load, the Army Air Forces chose the Liberator as the standard bomber while fighting the Japanese Empire. During the Operation Tidal Wave, B-24s were used in strategic bombing campaigns to bomb access targets in player Romania's rich oil fields. In Europe, B-24 bombers from Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle's 8th Air Force rained down tons of explosives and incendiary bombs on German factories. Some B-24s were used for electronic warfare as the war progressed, and they were distributed in radar countermeasures and low-altitude squadrons as test beds for more powerful equipment. Other B-24s were used for covert missions, such as Operation Carpetbagger, which delivered supplies to resistance fighters in France, Italy, the Netherlands, and other countries. Following the United States, Britain's Royal Air Force became the country with the second-largest B-24 fleet. The British used the aircraft in the Coastal Command Bomber Command and the British Overseas Airways Corporation, and their B-24s were spread across Europe, the Middle East, India, Asia, and the Pacific to fulfill a variety of roles. Many Liberators were also used as unarmed long-range cargo carriers to transport goods across British territories. In October 1944, 2 B-24 squadrons were sent to India to support British Special Air Service operators as well as American and French underground forces. The Royal Air Force and Coastal Command also used this dependable aircraft for anti-submarine and maritime patrols. Liberators were also used to defend Britain's coasts by spotting incoming enemy U-boats from the Kriegsmarine. These experienced aviator crews were crucial in winning the Battle of the Atlantic against the German Navy's initial dominance. The Liberators also provided constant air cover reconnaissance and extensive patrolling and coordination with the Canadian Air Force and the U.S. Navy to keep the seas safe from any surprise attacks. Despite its dependability, the B-24 was ultimately eclipsed by the B-17 Flying Fortress. In the end, the creation of Consolidated did not achieve its goal of becoming a better aircraft. However, it evolved into something new, with its own set of strengths and weaknesses. It had a longer range and a larger bomb load capacity, making it ideal for long-range operations and bombing raids. However, it lacked the B-17's toughness and resistance. While the Flying Fortress could still fly after losing sections of its fuselage, nose section, or wings, the B-24 earned the moniker Flying Coffin for a reason. Let us know what you think of the B-24 Liberator in the comments section below. Was it a worthy rival to the storied B-17 Flying Fortress? Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up. More interesting warplane documentaries can be found on our channel. We'll be back soon with another fantastic video.